Hi, everyone. Good evening. I hope you all are doing well. So, for this week's discussion, we're talking about illegal interview questions. Now, I know for most of us, our experience in interviews, it's a little nerve wracking at times, and pretty sure plenty of us have good experiences during interviews, and some of us have, decent experiences. I just know from my experience, personally speaking, that I've never been asked an illegal interview question, fortunately. However, if I was, I'm not really sure how I would react because I am sitting in that interview chair because I want the job that I'm interviewing for. And I'm also competing against other qualified candidates. And I wouldn't want to come off as, offended or that I'm showing any sort of discomfort, unfortunately, because I don't want them to use that against me as a reason not to give me the position. I might address that after the interview, of course, so I don't, kind of ruin the mood during the interview. But that's something I would probably take on the chin and just keep moving along. As far as interviewing, fortunately, I've also been in a position when I worked for a home healthcare agency as a healthcare recruiter to sit in on interviews with my colleagues. And we pretty much stuck to script. We had a predetermined set of questions that we would ask. And only during maybe a few situations or scenarios with one of my senior colleagues who, has been used to interviewing and the interviewing process would probably go off script and ask a question that wasn't on our list. So that was just usually to get a better feel of the candidate, to understand their behavior and become more comfortable with them for them to open up. But for the most part, I'm glad that I've never been put in that situation, that one of my colleagues has never asked one of those questions. But in the event that if they did, I'm sure that I would like to rephrase the question probably, or I would like to ask a different question altogether. I would like to do this without undermining my colleague because it would make for an awkward situation, and I would like to avoid that at all costs. And I would hope that the candidate doesn't become offended. I would pay attention to their demeanor. And if I do see that they might have been offended, I would apologize and tell them that, that wasn't according, a question that was listed and we just made a mistake. Furthermore, after the interview concludes, I would seek to speak to the candidate alone, and I would ask them if they felt, any sort of discrimination or any sort of discomfort during the interview, and I would like to apologize for that, whether they did or didn't. And I would tell them that that's not what our organization stands for, and that they shouldn't come to expect that if we make a decision to hire them. And finally, I would follow up with my coworker. I would like to know and understand why they asked that question. And it might have been a mistake, but I just have to let them know and use it as a teaching experience to let them know that that's not what our organization stands for, and that's not something we condone, and that the consequences of that question could lead us to legal troubles and put us in a lot of hot water. So that's my take on this week's discussion. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a good night.